Okay, so I have a more detailed video of Natasha Akpoti-uduaghan explaining, according to her story, how Godswill Akpabio was toasting her, right? Now, before I play you this video, let's not forget that it's possible she's lying. And it's also possible she's telling the exact whole truth. How are we going to confirm if she's lying or if she's telling the exact whole truth is what we'll discuss after this video. But first and foremost, let us hear her out.
Sit to you alone, or if this is a particular trend.
Yeah, that's output. That's what I'm about to explain that.
Yes.
Yes, so many people do not know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to speak my own truth.
Speak.
And the Senate President is allowed to counter that.
Of course.
It all started on the 8th of December, 2023, which was a day before his birthday.
2 years ago.
My birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akwa Ibom because he had a big fanfare in the stadium. Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends.
Okay.
We went to Akwa Ibom. And at first we were at Ikot Ekpene. We were in his house in Ikot Ekpene. Then we all moved to his house in Uyu, which was about 8 p.m.
Okay.
And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house. My husband was walking behind us. Just three of us were walking around from room to room. He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by this, by that. This designer here, he bought this from. I thought, God, it's beautiful. Okay. And then I noticed that he hastened his pace while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone, but he was catching up wherever he could. And then he got to this particular sitting room, and he said, "Do you like my house?" I said, "Of course, sir. Every room, beautiful, nice interior, quality taste." He said, "Now that you're a senator, I'm going to create a time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it." At that point, I just pulled away and I was like, I didn't understand what exactly that meant.
We understand.
But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me. And the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that exciting statements or not? And then the Senate President too, I saw that he also had that thought, like, did my husband hear the invitation to treat or not? So then the Senate President now said, "Oh, by the way, let me show you my chapel." He has a chapel in his house as well.
Okay.
So when we were going to the chapel, you know, we walked in silence and all. So that evening, before we left the Senate President's house at about 11 midnight to the 4 points in the Ekpene. And my husband asked me, "Natasha, what did the Senate President whisper to you? What was he telling you?" I thought, should I tell him that he was speaking about bringing me in here at a special time for us to have a good time? Or should I just kill it there, wrap it as if there was nothing? Because tomorrow was a big day. I know how much my husband adores the Senate President. He loves him as a brother. My husband would do anything to support him. So I told my husband, nothing. I can't remember what I created, but I just gave him some words to manage, to mask what was said. After, when we laid in bed, I looked to my right and my husband wrapped his arms around me and he said, "My love, you know you can't tell me anything." "What did the Senate President tell you?" Again, I was like, "Don't you believe me?" I said, "Nothing. Nothing. Moreover, it's my birthday in a few minutes. Let's just be happy."
You lied to your husband.
And my husband told me he doesn't want to see me travel out of the country alone, and I should not go to the Senate President's house because he has a guest house where many senators do go there, you know, after office to get approvals and all that.
Okay.
So I told him, okay, no problems. That was it. I thought that was going to be the end. But then, in February, I wanted to move a motion. I wanted to move a motion for the investigation on the ills of corrupt practice in Ajakuta Steel Company.
Okay.
I listed that motion 5 times. It was the 6th time that it was listed on the order paper that I was approved. Many senators can testify to that. Each time the motion is listed, just before he takes it, he will say, "Oh, Senator Natasha, we can't take this motion because the board of the Senate does not accommodate it." Or he will speak on others and then let it drag so that just before motion is taken, the time will be well spent and won't. So he kept on doing that. I went to him in his office. And I said, "Senate President, you know how important this Ajakuta Steel Company to me is. You know how important it is to my people and to Nigerians. I've noticed that you have stepped down this motion. As a matter of fact, a number of senators told me, go and see him and plead with him so that he will take it. I was like, sir, please, why can't you check this motion? It's very important. It's been listed. Then it was listed a third time and stepped down. He then said, Natasha, I'm the chief presiding officer of the Senate. You can enjoy a whole lot if you take care of me and make me happy.
Wow.
At that point, I said, sir, I'll pretend that I didn't hear this.
Take care of me.
He said, well, the ball is in your court. I left his office, and when I got home, I told my husband, I didn't tell my husband what happened. I just told my husband, please, can you speak to the Senate President to allow my motion scale through?
Because the two of them are guys now.
I think I also spoke to the DSP, to the leader, Senator Payme. I spoke to a number of senators that they should please intervene and allow him to that. I never told them what happened. My husband had to take a trip to London. Then the Senate President traveled to London. My husband met with the Senate President in London and pleaded with him, let my wife take this motion on Ajakuta. That is very important to her.
Okay. All right, Senator
He
Natasha.
said, okay, that he did not take it because he was protecting me.
Oh.
Hold on, please. He didn't take it because he was protecting me.
Protecting you.
Protecting me from what?
Anyway,
At the time he finally, my demotion was taken, it was the Deputy Senate President, His Excellency Barrow, that actually sat. The Senate President stood up and walked out. So it was Senator Barrow that actually took it.
All right, Senator Natasha.
And from there, many other incidents happened.
Yes, Senator
let's
Natasha.
talk about the nightclub.
Yes.
Let's talk about the nightclub incident.
Professor Kila is going to ask you a question. I'm so sorry to have to interject here, but I just want to mention that, and I'm glad you gave the caveat at the beginning of your statement, that this is your side of the story, and the Senate President has the right to defend himself or to counter what happened between you privately. So what I assume, or for what you're saying, is that what happened last week Thursday began from a private conversation, and then you have felt like you've been maligned as a result of you not agreeing to certain propositions, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
what has happened? You know the story of when a student keeps being failed.
Yes.
Please, let me say this, Ayo. You know the situation we see in universities whereby a student is continuously being failed just because she has not slept with the lecturer. That's what I've been facing, in simple terms.
Thank you. Professor Kila.
That is what I have been going through.
Thank you very much.
And now, moving to, should I speak?
Okay. Whether you like Godswill Akpabio or you are a fan of Natasha Akpoti-uduaghan, the best way to preside or give an opinion over this matter is to behave like, you know, that statue where they did in front of court. If you close your eye, you're blind, so that you are not seeing a man or a woman, you are hearing two voices. Now you will put Natasha Akpoti on your right hand and put Akpabio on the left hand and swindle it equally. So let's look at things from two sides equally. Anytime a man has a problem with a woman, the next thing she wants to talk about, the next defense she wants to go to, is that the man they toast me and not agree. Or the man tried to do something with me. We find it in every scenario between a man and a woman. Even that unique matter between that lecturer and that student, the student enjoys the story, go say, touch my bobby. It's normal. So sometimes it is hard for us to know who is lying or who is telling the truth. Because Natasha might be telling the truth here, and because it is a tool normally used by women, some people will say it is one of those tools. The next question is, can you prove what you're saying? This is a case of tell me, I can tell and say. There's nothing we can hold as proof, unless there's a phone conversation or a WhatsApp chat or something, which they likely don't have, because these issues happen between them talking one-on-one, and I'm not sure Natasha have a recording of what had transpired during those period. In my last video, she talked about a WhatsApp call. That one can be proven, but that's a case of threat. But on this one now, it's only at your word versus my words. And we cannot be able to ascertain who is lying or who is telling the truth. It is painful because she might be telling the truth and the other person will go scot-free because she cannot prove it. And she might also be lying, and the other person's name is tainted because it's a woman that is saying it. You know, when woman enter fight with you, you don't lose 50% already. Now God will help you draw that fight. God, now will help you draw. Don't call it extra time. Now then if you either win or lose. So anyhow you see him, Akpabio is going to have a problem from the standpoint of the populace, because naturally we will support a woman. But the way he has been hitting on her is quite too much. Yeah, on the floor of the scene, that way they changed Natasha. See, Natasha was quite rude and agile over it. But the way Akpabio got carry and go, security take her outside, she suspended her back. That was far too much, you know. Because he himself have done that before. And Saraki did not order security to take him out. But these accusations, the rumors flying around about Akpabio, is totally not palatable for a man of his status. I hope this matter comes to a reasonable conclusion.